Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for actually my first annual tour of the schools. It's nice to see us in a little bit of a different setting. I'm speaking up because of the acoustics, and also I want to thank Christian from Channel 79, who will be videotaping sort of stop-start, and then over the weekend they're going to work hard to put it up for our community to view. So thank you again for joining us. This is an opportunity for us to look at the projects along the way for the upcoming year that is in the budget, and a few other things that you might see along the way. So thank you for making time this morning on your Saturday. We have the sun from yesterday, not quite the heat, but it's not too bad. We'll take it. The traditional donuts and coffee here, I would hope that if you can, partake of it, take it with you. Shelley was kind enough to actually bring it this morning. I want to introduce Shelley. Shelley, as you know, is the middle school principal, and it's public knowledge now that she has indicated her intention to retire next year. So,
but I'll come back to the
but maybe for her service in this big building with so many kids that she looks after, maybe this is the first time that we can give her a wee round of applause. You may or may not have a word to say, then I'll turn it over to Mike. Most of you know Mr. Lynch, who knows the buildings inside and out. So he will be our guide for the day this morning. So with that, maybe Shelley, welcome, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Hopefully I was person last before Abraham House. Welcome to the best school in the district. And every improvement that we have is to the good and to the students, and thank you all for being here.
Mr. Lynch.
Well, good morning, everybody. So for this tour of this building, the first item on the agenda that we have in the capital budget is replacing the pickup truck that's outside. That was deferred from last year. It's 17 years old. It's got about 120-something thousand miles on it, and it's starting to hit the point where every month or so we have another repair we have to do to it. So it's time to get rid of it now before it causes us bigger problems. One thing I wanted to mention, you can see some of them here, like right over the main entrance there. We put a camera system in here. That was one of the items that was in last year's capital projects budget. And so there's now full viewing from multiple computer locations in the building of all the hallways on all 3 floors, all the stairwells, all the exits, and the exterior of the building. So that was done out of money from this year's capital. And it matches the computers, the camera systems in the rest of the building, and it's tied into our lockdown system, et cetera, et cetera. So what we wanted to go over today is the transformer. I'll just mention it. Up in the lower floor in the front of the building are the technology labs. One of the labs has a classroom in it that has a transformer inside of it, which makes a very loud humming noise. We've had it looked at, we've had it serviced. It hums like that because it's starting to wear out. So rather than have it break on us and we lose a section of electricity in the building, now's the time to change it. And I had 2 different engineering firms come and look at it, and they both said yes. It's beyond repair. It has to be changed. It's just a normal wearing out. It's over 20 years old. You can expect this. Sometimes they last 40, 50 years. Sometimes they last 15, 20. We got that one that's lasted 20. So the next thing to show everybody is this was a deferral from last year, is replacing the carpeting in the library. And then we can walk down one of the hallways and look out back. There's an access road. It goes from the south teacher's parking lot around the back past the 9/11 memorial and comes out on the other side by the bus ramp. It's there as an emergency access for ambulance, fire if needed. And it's 24 years old, and it's also a project that was deferred from last year. So we can look at the carpeting and then walk through the library and head out to look at the road, and then go on to our next building. Good? So this carpeting is original to the building renovation expansion of 1999. And we clean and shampoo it 2 or 3 times a year in an effort, in addition to the daily vacuuming it gets, in an effort to try to keep it looking as good as possible. But like these colors here, you can see they've just got discolorations and stains, and it's also pretty worn out in the higher traffic areas. So get rid of it now before it becomes a tripping hazard. And so that's why that's in the budget. And you can continue down this door and go out and down the hallway. You can see the rear access door. It's really not traveled all that much, but if you come up and look at it, you can see all the main cracks and alligatoring, and on the edges, all cracks pretty badly. So the plan here is to have a pavement reclamation where they come in and they grind this up and it actually becomes the base, and then they'll put down a new layer of pavement. And what we do is we piggyback onto the bid that the town's DPW does for their road paving projects that they do in July and August. So we get the benefit of their volume discount by just throwing our projects in on the back of their stuff. So it's a nice way of getting the work done at a really great price. If you have to, we'll take pictures and we'll put it back. If we have to, we will, sure.
What does this get used for, like on a regular basis? Or just...
On a regular basis, it gets used only by my maintenance guys occasionally, like if they're working on different parts of the building and they come back here, for grounds maintenance, etc. But, there's a fire hydrant here. There's another one up around the other side by the south parking lot. And there's the 9/11 memorial over there. It's not a regularly traveled road, but I think it was a requirement when they built the building. They wanted to have emergency vehicle access around the whole structure.
You may notice on this grind here some of these paintings, not that it's part of the project. I just want to note that when we first, nearly a year ago, went into this state of new being, Shelley on her own one weekend came up, painted all of this for the kids to be able to actually do their exercise. So just on her own.
And this is where she walked through the webpage.
I know you know where you are, but for the purposes of the television and the viewers, I'll welcome them to Holmes Elementary School. I must say this school to me has tremendous architecture and so on from outside, and just as much character inside it. So introduce Paul Blakely, the principal of the school.
Welcome to Holmes. We're happy to have you here this morning and show you around so that you can see some of the work that's being proposed.
Well, here we are again. At this building this summer, the big project being planned is re-roofing the building. Probably re-roof about 2/3, including all the shingle parts on the front, and then hopefully follow it up with some solar panels. So the main things going over here is you can walk this way and see the proposed library reimagined, which you can see in the picture right here, the blue and the pink and the yellow. And then if you look back here, this is where the proposed addition is. It would eliminate the portables and give the school the correct amount of full-size classrooms that it needs now and in the future. And this is an overall, on this side, this is just a site plan of the property. This is where the 2 portables exist now. They're right outside there. This is where the addition would be. You see, it really doesn't encroach on the children's play area, etc. Over here, this area here is where the house used to be. And so in the future, there's a possibility that this could be an expansion of the parking area. That's where I park my truck over there, that little, right at the end of the guy's driveway. So we should probably walk down this way. We can look at the library first. So this library, as it sits, is about the size that our ed specs call for a library to be. It's not undersized like is the situation at Royle and Hindley. This was added about 15 years ago as a computer lab, and it's used now. It's reading in there?
It's idea is in there.
The idea, and so this is prefabricated, mountable partitions. That would be removed. This area would be removed, and then they make some offices, and Paula can talk about the different spaces and what their uses will be.
Right, we'll have a maker space back in that area, and then some shelving here. And then the main circulation desk will be here with an office behind. And next to it, we'll have the green screen room. And then this will be a presentation space and classroom space.
So where does IDEA go?
IDEA will move into another classroom in the building.
I think idea.
It's not going to be on the first
It's
floor.
going to be on the second
It'll
floor.
be on the second floor.
But can you talk about the HVAC system and sort of how that interacts with like the new part of the old part that we're gonna redo?
Well, the boilers in this building are fairly new, but the 1932 edition, which original building, which is this section here, it really has very poor ventilation throughout. So the idea is that there's going to be heating, ventilating, and air conditioning installed in this building. There's enough ceiling space that the ductwork can go above the existing ceilings, and the existing ceilings can actually go back in at their current height. And these classrooms that currently just have unit ventilators, they would get new ventilation that includes air conditioning. The new addition would also. The boilers are currently steam boilers, and they're going to be converted over to hot water boilers. We don't have to change the boilers out, but we have to change a lot of what's known as the trim of the boiler to make it operate better. And at that point, we might go with a different type of burner. This building is now running on gas. It was converted 2 years ago.
So the HVAC design work that we're gonna do for the big project next year, will that be integrated in with all the other work that's being done?
Yes, the budgets that the architect has prepared take those dollar amounts into account, and they're like subtracted out of the capital plan, you know, the 5-year capital, 6-year capital plan, and they're incorporated into this project. So we're not going to do a large infrastructure project and then try to match an addition up to it. It would be, you know, one unique project.
Just so we're clear, you know, while the tour is focused on capital projects for this current budget, as the facilities team has done such a great job of looking at our facilities along with the administration, with our friends at Channel 79, this is going through the process. This is in its early infancy stages of where we'd like to head with some renovations for Holmes, Hindley, and Royle. So just kind of a little preview of what's working through the process right now. But again, the tour just focused on the capital projects for this budget. Just keep that in mind.
So just for clarification, the only project in the fiscal 22 budget would be the roof at this school. Is that correct?
It's fiscal 21 because
Okay.
the money was approved last year.
So what is in fiscal 22? So that we should
The design for the HVAC.
The design for the HVAC system.
Right, so just for clarification, that's all that's in the proposal.
That's correct. Well, I misspoke. We're doing emergency lighting.
Okay.
What you see, I should have pointed it out when we were at Middlesex. The exit lights like there by exit 6, we're changing those out to LED lights that have emergency lights built into them. We did LED lighting in the hallways here, and the next step is to change those emergency lights out. So we're doing that, and we're also going to go with a a clock system, wireless clock system. We have wireless clocks now at the high school and the middle school, and we're going to be putting them in at the elementary schools. So yeah, the design of the HVAC system is in the budget for next year also. So if someone wants to, we can walk outside and take a look at where the portables currently are and where this addition is planned to be. Okay?
Wait for Mike, I guess. This is where the current portables are, and currently we have music and instrumental music in those two portables. And the plan is to add the addition on this way, coming out here and going a little bit over to this area. And then that would incorporate the music room and the instrumental room.
What's in the storage container?
Right now, that storage is all of the classroom furniture we can't use because of COVID.
Okay, so when that...
They're not normally here. So. That's COVID storage.
Yeah.
Oh, those are like pods, those aren't
Yeah.
dumpsters.
Yeah.
Only the shed would.
Mike, is this one of the reusable ones or not? One that's gonna get dismantled and tossed?
I think it'll get dismantled. We bought it used. It was coming off of a 3-year lease, and then the Darien bought it in '07. So by the time it's ready to go, it's going to be 20, 21 years old. And we've actually had to replace the heating and ventilating system on the front unit a couple of years ago. It just went bad. You can't get the parts for it. I mean, we actually have taken some parts off of the broken front piece to keep the back one running. So it's, yeah.
It's like the truck.
Yeah. There you go.
So the nice thing about the way they design the addition is that it preserves the playground space so that we're not interrupting the hard surface to play on or the grassy area. So.
Yep, all set. Good morning again. Welcome to the high school. We're just outside the library at this point. On behalf of Ellen Dunn, the principal, she passes on her regrets, but she has a bereavement to attend this morning. So in her capable hands, we have Mark Zone, the assistant principal, and Chris Manfredoni, the athletic director. Thank you.
Yeah,
Good
absolutely.
morning to you.
Thanks for being here today. If we can kind of make it past our barriers right here, we can go right in the library, we can see the carpet, but that is up for replacement.
Yeah, this is also a project that was deferred from last year's budget, and it's past due to be replaced. It's got a lot of stains and wear, especially stains and stuff that we just cannot get out. So, Mark, you want to lead on?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Lead on before we just show everybody else what we're going to look at. We want to change out the gym floor, the south gym floor. So from here, we'll go look at the south gym floor, and then we can walk right outside and look at the new tennis courts that were built this past summer. And to show the locations, I don't know if you want to walk over that way, but over where the Stadium East is, there's there's a Connex box there that's used to hold the throwing equipment. That's where, the discus and shot put and stuff is located. And we want to change that out with a more architecturally pleasing but secure storage building. And there's another Connex box which is over on the third base side of the varsity baseball field. We want to change that out too. This doesn't really impact the overall idea. We're looking at some way to store outdoor athletic equipment in a secure, aesthetically pleasing way. These are just two real sore thumb eyesores that kind of stick out. We're going to have to replace them anyway because they're too far away from most of the sports fields. So you couldn't, take the batting machine out from over here and walk it over there every day. So if people want to go over that way, we can, but I don't think we really need to. But we look at this and then we look at the gym floors. The gym floors, these synthetic floors like this usually have a life of 12 to 15 years, and these floors are 15 years old. And we're not doing both at the same time because there's a tremendous amount of use between the summer school programs and the extended school year programs. And we have some sports camps that are run that use them. The town does a tennis program, and when it's bad weather, they need a gym to go into, and the wood floor, the main gym is not available for them to use. So we have to do one floor at a time, and the south gym floor is in a little worse shape than the north gym.
Are we proving both, or we basically put the other one in, like, in the next cycle?
It's in next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, one is in for this fiscal year, and one is in for the next year. So they'll go back to back, and then after that, a couple years later, is the synthetic floor at Tokeneke School.
And it was replacing with synthetic or wood?
These two here will be replaced with synthetic. The one at Tokeneke will be replaced with wood, because there is there's an expansion joint. It's sort of formed itself at Tokeneke, so you've got to put a floating floor over it. You can't put the synthetic. It won't stay.
I like that, it sort of formed itself.
Well, it happens sometimes, you know, you design something and you put your expansion joint here, and then 20 feet down, that's where nature says that's going to be the expansion joint. And that's what happened at Tokeneke. It's not really anybody's fault, those things just happen. And so in the hallway of the great room, we've made an expansion joint. But in the gym, it's just a large, visible but not unsafe crack running from one end to the other. And it's almost a perfectly straight line across the building, so, but I
All right.
digress.
And we'll get a bonus treat in the South Gym. The girls cheerleading team is practicing for virtual competitions, so we'll get the little bonus when we go down there after. Here, come on in.
Power outlets all over the place. The plan is to disconnect the electric for most of them. We'll leave a few strategically around, and then just flash patch over them before we put the new carpeting down. They're almost flush, so they're really not a trip hazard, but there's far too many of them. But it was from when the building was built, this section had computers on rows of cables, which is just not something that's used much anymore.
Yeah, and even, at the start of this year, there were still computers converging over these, most of them, but because we had to spread people out this year and take some furniture out, a couple of them are still exposed.
It's going to sound silly, but has Rudd technology or design, does it have an extended life versus the originals, or is it pretty much the same these days versus 10 years?
It's pretty much the same. You know, they use more synthetics now and more eco-friendly, recycled material on the backing of the carpet and things like that. But the lifespan hasn't really been extended or decreased. And that's about it. You want to go down and look at the South Gym?
Sure, we'll take them, just put them on hold here.
Right now, the gym's being used quite a bit as a cafeteria every day. It's going to be used to do the exams. But when it's a gymnasium, it's used like the cheerleaders are using it. It's used for basketball. It's used for sports practice, baseball practice, wrestling.
Both north and south are multi-purpose. We get a lot of use out of both. Track tends to use the north gym more. This tends to be basketball, baseball, softball. Anything you can think of, kind of like an overflow space for indoor practices when need be. So, it gets a lot of use. Like I said, I was the PE class, and right now I think it's a cafeteria. We use it as a meeting space right now for teams as well. So.
But there's, you can see there's a cut in the floor right here. There's some wear spots over there underneath the matting, and the surface wears out. And what they do is they come in and they peel off the top layer, and then pour. This is what poured floor. They pour a new layer, and then they'll paint the lines on it. They'll take a picture of what the space looks like now, so they can match all the lines. And that's pretty much about it. It's come to the end of its useful life.
How long does it take, Mike?
Do
To
the
peel
work.
it and then set it and then reline?
And then be able to use it
Yeah.
again. It's about a 2-week process, start to finish. And then it'll company that put this floor in, they make the floor and install it daily. They're in Connecticut, and they're a good company.
Mike, is it the same color?
Pardon me?
I'm wondering about the color.
Are there color options?
Oh, yeah.
Can you
Oh,
please
yeah.
ask the question?
No, you can get different colors, you know, don't put logos, whatever, that's not an issue at all. That would be done this summer.
Like some design work.
That's this summer,
Like
yes.
the last instance.
So, you need a contract before July 1st?
No,
Year for this, or?
no. I spoke to the company and they said, you know, if they know that, you know, once the budget's approved, I'll call them and say, the budget's been approved by everybody, we can, you know, start issuing purchase orders July 1st, put us on your list, and you know, we've done that in the past.
Is this something where if you had it before, July 1st, you can start earlier, or no, get it ready to go in June?
It's material coming in bags and stuff like that, so, you know, I don't know if he has space to, you know, get it and store it, but we don't have it here, this year, so. And,
Archery, that's an archery net. We use that, that's we use archery, that's an archery net. We use for PE class, we pull the curtain out for archery.
What are those blue panels at the?
those things there are drip pans. Those are air conditioning heating units up there, so there's drip pans underneath. So, we go look at the tennis courts. Quickest way upstairs.
Back upstairs in the gym lobby.
Go down to the gym lobby? Okay.
Just while you're here, lunches first to the gym.
Yeah, our sophomores in this gym right now are freshmen in the gym right next door for lunch.
Yeah, so there's an identical twin gym for the north gym on the other side of that wall. Similar setup, similar floor. I guess we'll get done next summer.
Dr. Holmes, is it too early to act, like, is the expectation that this will all be gone in September? Or is it
The
too
expectation probably that it will not all be gone this September. We can wait next month, but at this point, the answer would be we're still anticipating social distancing needs. The hope is.
Yeah.
Where's the storage for this room? Where do they store? It's in that.
There's a double closet right behind, yeah. And there's one, similar closet in the other gym as well.
We're good? Some kids came out here with rollerblades before the paint had cured. But the company's going to come out and do a repair on that. Yeah. So these are the tennis courts. It's a pre-stressed concrete, and it was put in last July and August. It included a whole new base. Actually, there was a 2-foot difference between where I'm standing and down to that end. Home court advantage indeed. Darien kids always played on this side. So they've gotten rid of most of the slope. There's a little slope naturally, so it'll shed water. But it's got all new fencing, all new netting, the standards for the netting, the lines, etc. It's all brand new, and it's really well made, and it was very interesting to watch them build the court. It was quite a nice.
$500,000, right?
Yeah,
It's under budget, right?
it actually came in under budget, yeah. And it's the same company that did the tennis courts down at Wee Beach a couple years ago for the town. I recommended them to this lady before Sam Sue. She did a couple courts down there that had been damaged by the hurricane, and they did them that way. And so when the time came, that's what we did here.
And this is an example, we changed the color out. These used to be green and red, and we made these Miami blue to match the Darien colors, so.
It's amazing.
All around better.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, pretty nice. We're excited to use them in a couple of weeks. We haven't used them yet.
All right.
Oh, really? And the trails.
Yeah, they weren't, you know, the full season.
I like
right?
walking it.
So they'll be ready for this year.
Yep.
And That's it, I guess. Unless people want to drive around the school and see the storage bins, we can go on to our next building, which is Royle School.
You might be playing music. Don't keep the dog.
Well, welcome back again, everyone. Welcome to the lobby of the Royle School. And I'm pleased to introduce this morning our principal, Garen Mullen.
Hi everyone. Thanks so much for coming. A little chillier today, but welcome to Royle. So I know that Dr. Adley and Mike are excited to show some of the proposed plans that we have. Certainly answer any questions that you guys have about the facilities here, but welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So in this building, the elementary work being proposed in the budget is similar to the other schools. We're looking to put in a wireless clock system throughout the whole building. And we're also looking, in the hallways, we put in all LED lighting. And we're going to change these exit signs out to exit emergency light. And it'll also be emergency lighting down the hallways. All the exit signs get changed out. And because as you can see, they don't make a high hat. It's an emergency light. So there's a few old lights still in the system. Those will be switched over also. We're also going to, hopefully if the money's approved, re-roof the 1996 building and the original 1947 building. Those roofs are both over 20 years old. They're eligible for the full grant funding that the state offers, and it's time to go. And so
which one are we in right now?
we're right here.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. We're right here. This piece here along the front is the 96 edition. And this piece down here, including the common room and the gym, that's the 1947 building. So the roofing project is to do this whole area here, not the library and not the 1958 edition. And this is the architect's rendering of a way to get rid of the portables and build a library that's meets the needs for, you know.
And sir, for the library that's demolished, what ends up there?
Probably just grass. It used to be, this used to be the front entrance to the school.
Okay.
There was a road that moved around the front entrance.
So again, just, I think Mike did a great job of going over the priority one for this year's budget in terms of what's being done at the school. But again, the facilities team has done a lot of incredible work. A lot of what we're potentially looking at here also involves a lot of the future work done to these schools. So the facilities team and Mike Lynch and the admin have done a good look out 5+ years as to what we can incorporate as we look at some of these renovations and move them through the facilities and the board process. So just kind of a high-level overview of how that process is moving currently.
And Mike, maybe following up on Duke's question, I mean, the reason we're not doing some roofing projects is it the life of the roof, or is it for the potential of what might occur at this facility in the future? Or both?
It's both. These roofs that are potentially areas that may be demolished or altered, they're not suffering any leaks at this point. They are nearing the end of their life. So project goes forward or not, a decision has to be made. But they're standalone areas. They're not, doing this roof doesn't impact this or this. They all have masonry walls separating them. So
just to make your point, I think it's important that we kind of see what could happen as we look at what is being approved today. So.
Right, if you do this, or you're going to have to do that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
And Mike, in terms of the grant process for the current roof and or the replacement roof and when it would start, is this something we work on this summer?
We would work on it this summer. We would get all of our approvals and we would bid it out in January and open the bids in February or March, which is what we did at Hindley School. And we got some, or Hindley and Holmes actually, and we got some very aggressive pricing because contractors, they want to start filling up their summer calendar. And if they can get a nice sized job in the late winter, early spring, start in the summer. You know, we had a lot of bids. We were surprised. We had 12 bids for Hindley roof, and we had 7 bids for the Holmes roof. Usually you get 3 or 4.
So it started this summer?
The process for this will start this summer. You know, we will RFP, bring on an architectural firm, design the project, apply to the state for the grant, get the grant approval, and then we can go out to bid. And so the work would be done starting June of 2022. I'm good. Everybody good here?
Yeah.
So good morning again. Welcome to the construction site of Oxridge. To members of the community who will be watching this on a delay, we very much appreciate your support for this new school. It's a tremendous 21st century learning environment for our children, and it will serve many generations of families and students over the next 20-30 years here in Darien. So with that, I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Forshaw, who's the principal here, as you know, and it's an exciting 2-phase. We've got the first phase going on right now behind us, the academic wing. But with that, I won't steal his thunder. He's proud of what's happening here, and we'll get a wee sense at different parts to look in along the way here. So look.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. I want to just thank the building committee again, and thank Duke and all the colleagues who are leading the town building committee. It's been fabulous work. So I'm here today basically to take you around the site. The door is open, the gate is open today, which is sort of atypical. It's because we're hauling dirt in and out. So I'm going to ask that we just actually stay off the construction site. We'll take you around the perimeter. The construction team has been good enough to do some educational opportunities for our kids. So we have a bunch of portholes, like plexiglass windows. They're different heights, so I'll show you the one for our bigger kids so we don't all sprain our backs. But I figure if we go around and look through those portholes, I'll give you a good image of what's happening. If you like, I can take you all the way around the back, where you can see where the water is getting deposited, just if you're interested in seeing how we're managing all that. And then certainly any questions you have about the construction or how we're educating and using the current facility while we live in the construction, I'm here to answer. Do you have any questions first before we just kind of take a lap around and show? Okay, you ready? Want to take a look? Okay, let's take a look.
Why don't you follow him first, and we'll follow and space it.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow. All right, guys, come on through. It's a little tight. I'll get you some photos. You can see the construction. So we're looking at construction fencing as we call it. We'll take a look at 2 windows. Come on through. So we'll go around so it's a little hard. These are 2 great shots. They're a little bit taller. And I figure if committee members want to take a peek through these are probably the best stuff.
So cool.
Let's sit down here and watch it up. I was just saying, Jeff, the construction team is so good. Anything I do. Do you have any questions about this segment of the tour? I'll show you where the water is running down this way. We can see the big deposition tank in the back. Just watch your step because we're going to come down a little bit of a incline here, okay? So come on back with me, I'll show you.
Okay, this is a temporary drainage structure. It was the first thing that had to be built here by the contractor. So any drainage coming off site, the water gets to this pond here where the sediment settles out, and then it is released into the wetlands, which are on the other side of that fence on the far side of this picture.
on the shores of the deposition tank, you'll see a bunch of kickballs and soccer balls. So we are not extracting every single ball. We're taking some loss there.
Kids.
But you can just take a peek. Yep.
So this is the start of this.
The pond?
Deb,
These are the kids going. And again, it's just like as they lose stuff over
you have to
there.
look at Deb to see about the diving.
Exactly.
Only about 15 feet, so.
When we have to do social distancing for coronavirus, we basically rented these facilities so we can store what we hope to bring back once we're, back to more typical classes.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
I see our fifth grade present
I
there.
know, Gaga, I know. And then the AstroTurf, we put down some stakes there, which is really cool. But the first year we had it, it was like mud dust. And now we're
Right, and that's where everything goes.
we lost, the spiders over
All
there.
makes sense.
We lost a big one. We kept all this stuff and then we just.
We're going to head over to Tokeneke School. This is really exciting to see this come. It's amazing just what they could do and how quickly they've done it. But I want to thank Luke for working so closely with the contractor and so on, and particularly with their families and their kids, making this smooth, safe transition. But just an exciting proposition for everyone.
Yeah, we'll say Luke is 24/7 participating in the building committee. He's on top of every design element and piece of it. It's a good team, but thank you, Luke. We'll sign you up for the next project.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.
I'll walk with you.
Luke. So welcome to the Tokeneke entranceway. It's lovely to see the sun shining this morning, and I would like to introduce Mary Michelson, who's the proud principal here. And we have a couple of wee outside projects for this year coming up, and we have emergency box that we put in this year. But anyway, Mary, good morning to you. You want to just say a few words?
Good morning, welcome to Tokeneke. It is a nice, beautiful, sunny day, and it's a beautiful school. Thank you for all your support. So we'll get to show you all of our new projects, our two projects.
Yes, two outdoor projects. Here comes one more first.
Project? Or
So last year's project in this building was to change out the fire alarm panel and the actual devices in the hallways in the classrooms, all the smoke detectors and heat detectors. And that was done, and there's not much to see except a different colored box in the wall by the desk over there. The projects we have this year were identified during a walkthrough a couple years ago, actually, by some of the board members, and they were good ideas. One is to widen the delivery road on the side of the property here. When there's a food delivery, as an example, the driver comes in here, he checks into the building, and then he goes back out to his truck and he drives a little bit around the circle and then he backs down. And, it's an 8.5 foot wide truck and it's a 10 foot wide driveway. So there's mud and ruts on both sides. So part of the project is to take care of that. The other side of the project is on the south side of the building. There's an area around the corner of the building where it's just a mud hole from the kids cutting the corner. And we're going to fill that in with blacktop, and then there's a slope leading down to the baseball field that constantly erodes. We built a stairwell there a couple of years ago thinking, well, the kids are going to use the stairs and everything would be fine, and that was really a mistake. Actually not. There's a safe way to get from up to down, but we have to put a retaining wall and a nice looking like split rail fence type on top of the wall. So those are the projects that are in the capital budget for this year. We could walk out the front door, look down here, and then we could walk through the building and see that.
What did he call it?
The new fire control panel.
Okay, did they leave? Okay, we'll go around. So maybe he wants to show the panels We can go up this tour.
I think
It's going to stay, and we're going to expand the roadway out this way, and we're going to expand it a little bit out this way. And then it's going to narrow down once you get past where that basket is. That's the kitchen's delivery entrance. Because what the trucks do is they back down to there, and out this way, and
Run into the,
Sign.
then you don't have to drive in there.
we will not be moving the trees. We're not going to make it any wider. The electric service comes down into that transformer, and so I don't even want to come near excavating near them.
No more concrete.
No. So, it's a gated fence. That way it's easier if we just walk back through the building and diagonally across to see the other side where the ball field is. I have my key. We're thinking of doing is extending the blacktop out to 2 feet out wider on this side, and then having a retaining wall with split rail fence on top of it. And this is just, you know, loose rock, kids fall. There's rocks down there where we go to mow, we got to stop it. It's been a constant issue since the building was built. So we think if we get rid of it, you know, with the split rail fence on top, it'll be aesthetically pleasing. It'll match the fence on the garden over there. It'll look nice. There'll be a nice retaining wall here, and it'll be a little wider area here. And then down around the corner, you see where it's all just dirt. That is a mud hole. Many different times during the year. There's a door in the middle of the back. To the left of the door, it's blacktop up to the building, and to the right, it's mud with a walkway. So we're going to just make it blacktop up to the building. So there'll be a little blacktop over there, 2-foot wide blacktop here, retaining wall, split rail fence, and then this will be, you know, graded to, it'll be level all down here. Let me start right about here. It'll be level grass. A little safer playing ball too. Pardon me?
So where is the fence on top of the wall?
Yeah, the fence will be on top of the wall. When we put the wall in, we'll put PVC sleeves so that the fence posts can sit right in them. And that's it for here. Are there any questions?
Good morning again and welcome. Here we are at Hindley Elementary School. And I'd like to introduce this morning the principal, Mrs. Julie Droller. We have a couple of projects that are outside around here. But with that, Julie, I'd like to say good morning to everyone.
Good morning. Thank you for coming today. This is exciting. We're excited about the project and appreciate your time.
Mr. Lynn, for...
Yes, I'm right here. So in this building, last year the roof project was approved and it's been bid out successfully. It's going to start this June 15th. For the upcoming year in this building, there's 3 priority 1 projects proposed, one being changing out the exit signs to look like that one right up there, which was done when they renovated the office spaces and the nurse's office a couple years ago. Do that to the rest of this emergency lighting throughout all the hallways, along with new exit signs. We're also going to change out the clock system to one of the battery operated clocks, and we have a proposal to redo the sidewalks, curbing, and bus ramp in the front of the school where the children get dropped off and picked up off in Near Ward. And behind is the renderings of a solution for how to get rid of the portables here. Do we want to look at the
Yes.
bus ramp?
Yes, please, yes.
Wait, can you point out where the roof is that's being replaced?
Yes. The roof being replaced is from here to here.
Again, this is the 3rd school that's part of the whole facilities project that's being looked at. Those are kind of schematics that are going through the process, as I said, at the other 2 schools. all centered around the Remove the Portables project and the library reimagined. But I think Mike went over the priority one projects for this current budget year.
So I'll show everybody our front. Okay, so this driveway here was renovated, installed, etc. back in 1996. We've done some curb repairs, we've done some painting. It's really in bad shape up by both entrances to near water. So the plan is to dig this all up, redo the whole thing, sidewalks up to the building, where some is concrete, some is blacktop. Make sure they're handicap accessible with the correct tactile strips at the curb cuts. Make a curb cut over there for the emergency driveway that goes around the back of the building. And keep the same size. We're not going to expand it or anything like that. There's a lot of reasons for that. One being the electric comes over right over there. The water comes over right over here. We don't want to start digging up and possibly damaging it. But if you look up here, you can get a better idea. This is the original building, the highest part there, from one end to the 1996 edition. That's the area that's going to get the new roof this summer. And contractor's actually going to work from this space because the day camp is going to be coming in and out that entrance over there. And as soon as he finishes, we're going to hope to get the blacktopping done. And he's thinking it'll be 3 to 4 weeks with the roof. And I guess that's it for me.
So, Mike, what's the vintage what year versus the original building, library?
The original building's 47, the library's 76.
And is that in addition to, like, the cafeteria there? Or whatever, the kitchen?
One is 76. The one on the left is from 76 with the blue door, and the one on the right with the you cut, that's 96. The original building, the kitchen was in the original footprint.
It's stunning. They took this front beautiful facade and
That's what I
kind
was
of
just thinking. Beautiful.
Yeah.
None of
Covered it up.
hopefully.
So, yes, sir. We go inside door here.
This, are you showing?
Dr. Adley can tell you better. This is the existing library of the Hindley School. It was built in 1976.
The ceiling is unique.
That material is called tech cover. It's a spun fiberglass and cement mixture. It's supposed to be a combination of, roof deck, acoustic material, and finished material all in one. And it was popular in the mid-50s to the mid-70s.
And it was cheap.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive.
There's a common theme of the 50s, if you see it. Like, that's when the original high school was built, right? Or
Yeah, 59.
Oxridge, right?
Oxridge, yes.
The original Tokeneke, too?
That was 55, yep. Yeah, last high school.
Who was on the Board of Ed, RTM, and Board of Finance back then?
So anyway, this does give you a visual of the library space. It definitely does need a refreshing, to say the least. But it's certainly not conducive to the type of construction we're doing at the moment.
Beautiful front of the school.
Good.
California.
I think we're good, Mike, aren't we? Around here?
Yeah,
This building, that's it.
Yep, that's it for here.
So thank you for joining us this morning. This is the last stop on our neighbourhood tour. And here we are, Central Services, the Board of Education building. We have a wee project outside. And then we're going to meander down to the basement for the copy centre. I think those are the ones that we're going to profile. Mr. Lynch, is that correct?
Correct.
Do you want to talk about, just since we're right here, the parking lot to start with?
Several years ago, we did that parking lot. We started right here. This was where we stopped. And this front part here was not done at that time. And it's the same as our other paving programs. We latch on to the town's program, and we're going to, mill this whole parking area and pave it. Probably in 2 stages. We'll probably do this part first. So you know, we can drive around this way, go to work. And then once this road's done, we'll do that parking lot and just have it closed off to the public for a week or so. And it will include new curbing all the way around. And since the last time we met, we did do the roof on this building. That was a project that was approved and done in 2019. I didn't get to show it to anybody last year, but that was came out really nice.
And it's not slate.
No, it's not. It's a 30-year guarantee commercial grade shingle.
It almost looks like slate.
That was what we were trying to do. Yeah. So totally redone. And now we can go in and look at the proposal to possibly change the basement into a copy center.
Currently, I can take you right now to see the current one, or if you want to see just where it is, that's, I know most people know that we'll be going down there, but if anybody wants to wait, just wait with me, and I'll give you a quick look at what the current copy center is. But everybody else can just, good luck going down there, right? I'll be with you.
I'll wait and take a peek. I've heard it plenty, but I've never really seen it.
I'm doing the full tour.
We'll be right there. This is the entire school district here.
Yeah.
So this is very tight. There's very little ventilation, right? There's no obviously access to natural light. We also have copiers that are sitting in the board meeting that are going during regular meetings, and it's just not the conducive place for it. So the proposal next year is to move it to the basement. And,
What does this become then?
so we also have a space behind where the community sit there. There's a room in there that is for record keeping. It's very full, so the potential is for some of those records to come down perhaps in this particular area. So that's or an expansion a little bit of the technology with Mr. DeMayo who runs it. It may be able to run it from back here, and then we can use his space for some of the storage. So that's kind of where we are. And we've got a nice possibility downstairs. There's a nice ramp out to the outside downstairs, but you have to sort of visualize what this looks like.
What did you add? You said you added some ventilation.
Right behind you, sir.
Oh.
This one has I don't know if it's a Mitsubishi, but it's one of the wall units.
Yeah.
Okay. And when this is up and running, the smell, the
heat,
it's just
right?
everything, right? And then even if the copiers aren't outside, the noise in here, often there's meetings going on, and it's just not conducive.
So you guys use that during the day a lot?
As well, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just not conducive. So. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go downstairs and take a look at.
Thank you.
What it might be.
So this is currently the basement of the central office that will be converted into a copy center. And so this will expand out quite a bit.
These little rolls wrap.
It goes on forever.
Sorry.
Looks like they need a couple of dumpsters and
So there's Bridget as an Irish dancer.
Oh my God, I'm missing her. Is that going down?
You're asking for that because it's what they say?
I don't know, it's her.
The town like kind of, if you will, handed over this whole building other than the basement or that is down here. That's correct. Technically, like, I mean.
But it's just use, it's not a change.
No.
Yeah, there's a separate, totally separate basement in the front of the building that has the elevator go down to it, and that's the special ed storage room. It's down there, and that's where the generator is. We have the back two rooms in this building, and one's the electrical switchgear room, and one is the boiler room. The rest of the
So are
basement
you still with the fire?
has the,
You're still on?
the fire sprinkler system, and some old bathrooms, the storage area here, which is unused.
Mike, can you talk a little bit about what this project would actually be, like in terms of how it might look, like if we've designed or spec'd it out yet? Like, does it need special ventilation for
No, the
some
building,
issues?
sure, the building was built with a large enough size rooftop unit that this building can be heated, ventilated. I believe you have to have an exhaust fan system. All the plans call for a copy area, an office, a storage area for the district storage, and handicap accessible bathroom. And the infrastructure for all that, for the bathrooms and stuff is here. And then a new door and window entrance coming in from the outside over there. And then they have one plan that shows the copy center here and the storage up here. Another kind of mix, and then another, the copy center is from this place up, and this is made into a better defined storage area. And so those are the three options that the architect gave the school, and we have presented to you guys option C.
Is there any flooding or issues down here? See, everything's raised.
Well, there was when I got here, and it was just because the building hadn't been maintained in a couple of years between the library leaving and the town doing the construction. So we cleaned out a bunch of drain structures that are outside each of the doors around the building, and it's fine.
Okay.
But it's still always a good idea to try to keep stuff up off the ground.
Now, do you do a lot of the copying for the town?
I don't know.
No, we do, currently we do not do copying for the time.
Would that change if you were?
Well, we would always be willing to look at opportunities to collaborate on projects. If it seemed reasonable to look at that, we'd certainly look at that. I know I've certainly had a discussion about that, and just tacitly, but it hasn't gone beyond that. But currently, no. Okay. Is anyone else out there, Deb? Or are we good?
No, it's just,
Is there any planned redevelopment for where the copy center is right now? Like, would you do anything new with that in terms of repurposing or storage?
So, so I think everybody understands how disruptive that is up there, and also the space, the lack of conduciveness to the actual purpose of it right now. It will either, there's a couple of wee scenarios. One might be where the technology currently exists for Board of Education meetings and so on, Jeff DeMayo, we may be able to relocate that because that's a tight space. There's also storage up in the back room where the community sits. Behind that there's a storage room too. So that may also come over and or go into Jeff's room and Jeff come into there. So we haven't really decided exactly what, but for the most part, we got to get rid of that noise, and we got to get rid of the distraction, and also provide an opportunity for that function of the copy center to run. But there's a couple of options up there now.
Yeah, one of the questions I asked upstairs is how often is the meeting room used, and it's used quite often.
Pretty regularly, yes, pretty regularly.
Not just for board ed meetings.
No. Yep. We have actually students who come now just spaced out for assessments and different things. And it's basically used a good part of the day. Professional development for staff and meetings, and particularly in non-COVID times, that's up and running on a regular basis.
Yeah, there's probably at least a meeting a day when it's non-COVID, during the workday. So.
While the copy machines are going.
Including the one that's right outside in the meeting. Yeah.
It turns on and off by itself.
Yeah. And people walking in and out, picking up a delivery to take to a school, and so it is a disruption.
When we meet up there, it's off hours, so we don't get to see it in full bloom.
Right. Oh. So, if there's any other questions from the board or our guests, if not, I certainly would like to recognize our board finance, RTM members, parents who joined the board members this morning. Thank you for your attendance. To members of the community, this will be up over the weekend. It's probably Sunday afternoon, but it'll be up over the weekend. Thank you for virtually coming along on the journey with us. And more than anything, thank you for supporting the schools through the capital projects. We're tremendously grateful of your generosity and support of education and the facilities that we need. So with that, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like to conclude the meeting, official meeting, we're good.
Motion to adjourn. Mr. C, Mr. Brown, all in favor of the group on the board?
You got it.
Thank you again for coming, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. It looks like a lovely day outside. Thank you.
Little wind.